deal with it.
Right. And this is the same with colleges as well.
I would say totally with colleges. This is also the age range of the start of severe mental health issues like schizophrenia and bipolar, which would probably be a topic for another day, but they occur in the age range of 18 to 25.
Right.
So you can't get away if 1% of the population or 0.5% of the population has rare mental health issues. You will have a few kids in your university suffering from it.
And the typical institutional response from a university, especially in India, has been clamp down, don't talk about it, sort of hide information, bury it, because you're scared of sort of risking your reputation, saying, oh, look at these talented young minds who go to your top institution and then commit suicide because you all messed up. Right? So there's this sort of tendency to just bury this news rather than, figure out what the problem is and then try to address it in the right way.
I think it's a universal problem. I don't necessarily know that it's an Indian problem. It's a universal problem because mental health is still stigmatized across the world. How severely stigmatized might vary.
Right.
India is probably a lot more stigmatizing to be mentally ill than, say, in Europe or in the US. So yet, it's not only here that we hide that information, but society itself wants to be, head under the sand attitude. So as long as society is doing that, every institution will do the same thing. And the quicker we understand that you can't keep your head under the sand very long, because it's right here in your face, the faster we'll find solutions.
So to address this, you talked about counseling. And there's this completely unhilarious story I have about someone from a university, who had a student who was suffering clearly from mental illnesses, who recommended to the student and their parent to go seek counseling. And the parent was ignorant enough to think that this was career counseling. So when we talk about counseling, even that is something we need to unpack, right? So could you talk about counseling, psychology, and all the practices apart from psychiatry and maybe the prescription of medicine?
Sure.
What role do people play? What's that like in India?
So in India, I'm a psychiatrist, so I'm talking as a psychiatrist about psychology. The India does not have a very well-regulated system of what is a counselor to what is a psychologist, what is the qualification of a psychologist, what is the difference between somebody with a counseling degree versus somebody with a PhD.
Right.
So in India, you could do a small workshop and get a certificate in counseling, or you could actually have a full 3, 4, 6-year degree with a PhD and be a psychologist.
Right.
Or you could have an MPhil, which is a bachelor's, master's, and then the MPhil, which makes you a clinical psychologist in India.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there is no governing body that makes you register with them, and therefore somebody can look it up on a website and say, hey, here is a psychologist with this degree. So it's really important for a person to do their own research and find out what kind of help they need. The average person with stress, say just a lot of overwhelmed at work, I don't think I'm organizing myself very well, would benefit from seeing somebody who's a counselor, let's say, who doesn't even have maybe even a bachelor's degree. I've had people tell me they did engineering and then did some counseling courses for 6 months and decided to open a counseling center.
Okay.
So you might be somebody that could go to such a person. Now you have anxiety and depression to a level where it's starting to affect your life occupationally, socially, interpersonally, personally. Then seeing a counselor with a 6-month, I'm not sure will necessarily work out. You might want to see somebody who actually has a training in psychology, who knows how to do forms of therapy like CBT, DBT we talked about before.
Right. And diagnose you perhaps, right?
Absolutely. And I'm assuming that they haven't seen a psychiatrist and they do not have a diagnosis. It would be very dangerous then to go to, frankly, dangerous, it may be a controversial work, to go to somebody who's not actually trained in the field of clinical psychology. Clinical psychology requires you to go to a hospital and see patients. And in a place like NIMHANS, you would go to a place, train for years to see patients and know the diagnostic criteria. Somebody with even a master's from a college in psychology will not have that.
Okay.
So then you have to know, if you need a diagnosis, either you go to somebody with an MPhil or a double master's in psychology, or to somebody with a PhD in psychology who actually knows how to diagnose you and will make the correct recommendation of seeing a psychiatrist or not seeing a psychiatrist. Do you need medicine or not? Can I help you professionally?
Right.
And because what happens is, it's very important, people, I think lay people think counseling is talking, just chatting. And family members say, ye hum bhi kar sakte, we can also do this for them. You don't need to see any